Yo, what is going on? This is B-RAD the man, and today we're going to take a look at the first matchup in our Zombies March Madness tournament. Coming in as the number 1 seed, we got Black Ops 3's Eisendrache versus the number 16 seed, Black Ops 4's Voyage of Despair. Now, in order to save some time and not have the series go into August, I'm not going to focus on the story too much. It will be briefly mentioned, but it will take a lot of time. We have 16 first round matchups, and I know the story, but not as much as other zombie YouTubers, so I'm going to break down the matchups on 3 key points: map design, gameplay, and fun factor. So this will be how easy it is to do the basics of each map, how the weapons and other gameplay mechanics feel, and how much fun each map is, from having a fun casual experience to how hard it is to do an Easter egg if the map has one. So with that said, let's hop into it.
Field report. En route to somewhere new.
Eisendrache is the first DLC of Black Ops 3 and takes place on a mountaintop fortress in the Austrian Alps. Almost every part of the map either has sections that are important for doing the Easter egg, crafted any of the 4 elemental bows, or used for high round strategies by camping or training. Now, the map flows very smoothly, and considering the options for doing the Easter egg or high rounds, the design is nearly flawless. It has a number of doors, but it is easy to understand after a couple playthroughs. It also contains gravity lifts that are easy for teleporting around the map, and a teleporter to get to the rocket site, so traveling is easy to manage. On the other side, Voyage of Despair, which is the first map in Black Ops 4, the same can't be said. Voyage takes place on the Titanic, but the flow of the map feels like a 3-lane map with multiple floors once you enter the inside of the ship. Though sometimes with the multiple floors and with the amount of small rooms, it can be easy to get lost. In order to get the Sentinel artifact, which is essentially power, you must travel from the spawn room all the way across the boat to the poop deck, whereas under Eisendrache, power is just opening a couple of doors and flipping a switch. On Voyage, once you turn on power and activate all 4 Pack-a-Punch locations, there is a lot of wasted space, because one lane of the map can almost be basically ignored if you aren't doing the Easter egg, and activating all 4 Pack-a-Punch locations can be a chore, especially if you don't know the map that well. Even for me, I've done the Easter egg with friends several times, but I can say for the Pack-a-Punch, there were times I couldn't even find it. And don't even ask me about finding the shield parts and other part pieces. It's a hell of a chore and not a fun one at that. On Eisendrache, finding parts and going on the quest to get the elemental bows and pack-punching is fun. And as far as the color schemes of each map, Eisendrache definitely has the advantage with its vibrant colors and lighting in each section. Whereas on Voyage, if you aren't on either side of the ship, it's not that appealing, so my choice on map design here definitely goes to Eisendrache. Now when it comes down to the gameplay, Eisendrache is simply one of the best. It has some of the best wonder weapons of all time with the elemental bows, fire, void, wolf, and lightning, and the rest of the weaponry is also really good because of the double pack-a-punch system in Black Ops 3. And the introduction of the Ragnaroks, slaying zombies has never been easier. But even without the OP guns, each weapon is fun to use, and the map can be a fun challenge with the zombies, hellhounds, and the return of the Panzer. Now, on Voyage, again, the same thing just can't be said. The wonder weapon, the Kraken, which is a literal cannon in your hands, is a fun weapon to use, but it isn't a top 10 wonder weapon. And it does get outshone by the Hellion Salvo, one of the best rocket launchers of all time. The Hades and the KN-57 are also good weapons, and the Homunculus is great, but the weaponry can't really be compared. There just aren't that many power weapons, especially with the amount of mini-bosses, the Catalyst Zombies, the Stoker, and the Blightfather. It can just be too much, especially since training on Black Ops 4 can already be challenging. You do spawn in with a specialist ability, which helps you get out of sticky situations, and it is nice to not have to go on a giant quest to obtain a power weapon, but since you already spawn in with Jug and have other items like Wraith Fires that already make you near invincible right away, it just feels like cheating. Now personally, I don't mind it, but I know others feel that way. Now in terms of the Easter egg, each map has an interesting quest to say the least. On Eisendrache, after completing the bows, you then go on a quest to defeat a giant keeper from Shadows of Evil, as well as a horde of zombies and panzers, then proceed to blow up Griffin Station on the moon, and retrieve the soul of Ultimus Tank Dempsey. This map was the first to feature a zombies boss fight, marking a high point for the zombies community. On Voyage, after doing a series of challenges, aligning the planets and placing the Sentinel artifact in the iceberg, you then go through a couple survival rounds before fighting a giant eyeball inside the iceberg. It doesn't really make much sense, I know, but the boss fight is actually one of Treyarch's best boss fights. But despite that, the lead up to the boss fight is quite a challenge, and I don't have the best time getting there. Whereas in Eisendrache, the lead up is quite fun. So in terms of the gameplay, the sandbox of weaponry, and the Easter egg, I also have to give this one to Eisendrache. Finally, let's talk fun factor. Now, it seems like throughout the video, I've been shitting on Voyage, and with due reason. Because of the points that I've made, and in terms of the story, the characters, and hectic gameplay, I actually think Voyage is a map similar to Transit. It wasn't as bad as Transit, but just like Transit, it was a map with so much potential, but just ended up flopping. There's just too much to deal with, and doing the Easter egg is quite a chore that I don't enjoy, just like Transit. Whereas on Eisendrache, I for sure have this in my top 10 maps because the gameplay is fun, the map is well thought out, and the replayability is top notch. On Voyage, the replayability is just bottom tier. I enjoy playing Eisendrache, I don't enjoy playing Voyage, and it is one of the maps I would certainly not miss if it never existed. On one side, you have one of the best maps of all time. On the other, you have one of the first and one of the most hated in the zombies community, or so it seems. So in terms of the fun factor, I'm going with Eisendrache, and if it were up to me to pick which map moves on to the second round, I would most certainly choose Eisendrache. But that's not up to me, it's up to you. Guys, you have the opportunity to choose what map moves forward in the tournament. Now all you need to do is just send in those brackets and be sure to vote on Twitter which map you think is the best. The link is in the description, and both the brackets and votes will move the winner forward. But that's going to do it for this one. Be sure to follow me on Twitter and subscribe to the channel for the next matchup. Now I got a lot more matchups to cover, so I'm going to go ahead to work, and I will catch you in the next one. Peace!